We have some breaking news as the Miami Heat have made a massive signing, re-signing Erik Spolstra to a record-breaking deal. So break down that signing and discuss what it can mean going forward for the Heat on this episode. We also have Jimmy Butler speaking out, and he had some wild things to say when asked about potentially not winning an award because of his lack of games played. So stay tuned for all that on this episode. Before we do, quick reminder, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 250. Now, Houston, we have a lot to get into today. The Heat have made a massive signing, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Erik Spolstra, you can see the tweet here from Woj saying ESPN sources Miami Heat coach Erik Spolstra's contract extension includes the most committed coaching money in NBA history at 8 years, 120 plus million. This is wild. We saw Monty Williams with the Pistons get a huge deal last offseason when he was obviously, I guess, a coaching free agent. And now to see Erik Spolstra get even more. These coaches are now getting longer deals than ever. They're getting crazy amounts of money. I'll just get your your initial reaction on this crazy deal. I think we're pretty happy to have the probably the best coach in the league back with us for 8 more years.
Yeah, 8 more it's simply insane that they gave him so much money for so long. But if anyone's gonna get it, Erik Spoelstra is well deserving of it. I've raved about him all season long with his ability to throw up different lineups when we are lacking players, whether it be Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, or Tyler Hero, any star player. It doesn't phase Erik Spoelstra. He simply just does what needs to be done, and he doesn't really complain much, and he works with what he got, and he's getting paid for it now, and it's well deserved.
Yeah, and you think about, I guess, what other teams in the NBA would want Erik Spolstra, and it's literally every single team. Whether,
Yeah.
obviously, it seems like a lot of money, 120 plus million. We're at the point now where coaches are getting paid more than some players, more than some role players, all this stuff. But when you look at Erik Spolstra, he's been one of the most well-renowned coaches around the league. The Heat have played very solid this season, ups and downs, of course. And when you're looking at his accolades, two-time NBA champion, top 20 in all-time coaching wins, signing a new contract. If the Heat didn't do it at the end of his contract, another team would have absolutely given him a similar amount of money. And you kind of discussed how his play has been so far this season. We've seen him coach tons of different teams, less talented, more talented. To see him commit to this team with the Miami Heat, they have young guys. We have Jaime Jaquez, we have Nikola Jovic, all these young guys going forward. To have that stability and have the exact same coach is very important with these young guys. And I don't know, are you happy? Do you think the number's crazy, or do you think that it did not matter what they paid him? It's not coming out of our pockets. It's coming out of the front office's pockets, Pat Riley, all these things. I think at this point, just having him with the team is huge, not only for the current team, but the young guys in the future as well.
Yeah, 8 years is the biggest number out of regardless of the money they gave him. He deserves as much money as you really can afford to give him because of the background and what he's done up to this point in the year. But really, like the 8 year thing is the biggest thing. Just because again, Jaime Jaquez, Josh Richardson, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, like Jimmy, I guess you can call him aged, and he's like
Yeah.
what 33 years old. Like he's still young for basketball. He'll play for a handful more years. Hopefully, it's all in Miami. And yeah, like you said, Erik Spoelstra being able to be there now, he's been there for a handful of years prior. He started coaching, he was the head coach from '08 to now. So and before then, he was part of the scouting team and the film crew, and he's worked his way all the way up. It's well deserving. I'm not surprised by the number. I'm thankful for it, to be honest with you, because like you said earlier, there's what, 32 teams in the NBA. 29 of them, if Erik Spoelstra was a free agent, would be calling him the second he was considered a free agent or available to be talking to or spoken to. And yeah, so thankful for Miami going out and getting him. Who cares how much money it is? He'll win, he'll win, he'll win, and that will generate more revenue and money for the rest of the organization, and it'll all come back. So no reason to sweat the money. It'll all be okay. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, and again, the biggest thing here, I mean, you kind of mentioned it. If he would have hit the, I guess, open, we're talking about open market now, like it's a free agent, it's literally a coach, but
Yeah.
Monty Williams, I guess, hit the open market to a degree and got tons of money, and it took a while for that process to go through. With Erik Spolstra now, he did it midway through the season, so there's going to be no overlapping time whatsoever between Erik Spolstra he's not going to be on any other team or even discuss with any other team, which means obviously he's committed to the Heat. He's been with
Yeah.
the team for so long, and we look at the schedule now, the past few games. We've done solid. Obviously, we've lost a couple of rough games here and there against Utah, the Clippers, and Phoenix, but enough. Whether he could have been having a horrible start to this season this year, and I think ultimately they still would have got this done because the track record speaks for itself. And ultimately, he is the best coach in the NBA. And you mentioned it, maybe 2 or 3 teams, specifically probably the Pistons because they have Monty Williams right now, would have fired their coach and hired Erik Spolstra the second at the end of the season, the second that he was available. And we saw the influx of coaches get signed last offseason, so it was good that the Heat got the extension done before and got out in front of it. Any quick final thoughts before we move on to the second topic?
No, just it's like you said, no hiccups in the road for this transaction to be done. And yeah, it's a joy to see that the Miami Heat were smart enough to get out in front of it, bring him back, make sure he was happy with the amount of years, the amount of money, and the situation. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if this was ever like never even a question. It was kind of just like, hey, you ready for this? And it was just as simple as that, just because of how long he's been there and just the overall relationship that it seems like the Miami Heat and Erik Spolstra have had since the beginning of this relationship.
Yeah, it'd feel weird to see him in any other uniform
Yeah.
for as long as I've been watching, and even before
Yeah.
that, he's been kind of he's been the guy, and he's gonna be known as the probably the best, one of the best coaches in NBA history if he isn't already. Now let's move into the second topic, which is Butler speaks out. And I just want to throw this in there for the last couple minutes before we wrap up. This one is very interesting. So we all know about the Joel Embiid stuff where he's missing a lot of games. I think he's 8 or 9 games away. He's missing another one tonight from being excluded from the MVP race. And he was asked by Barry Jackson saying, by rule, Butler can't be considered for one of the All-NBA teams if he misses 6 more games this season. He said in response, quote, "You think I'm worried about some reward. The only reward I care about is those banners over there. That's what I told Spo. That's what he told Pat. I'm going to help us get that." Now, I like this attitude. He clearly doesn't care about awards. Some players have them baked in their contract where they make more money. Who knows if Jimmy Butler is worried about that? Clearly, I don't think he has anything to worry about monetarily or financially because of his massive contracts he's gotten, specifically the max of the Heat. But the point is, we know this is what Jimmy Butler does. Phenomenal teammate. All he cares about is winning, and it seems like he does not care at all if he makes an All-NBA team because of missing games. If he wants to be healthy for the playoffs, which is when Jimmy Butler ultimately shines.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that he's just so out. He says what he wants and he doesn't care if the media takes it and how they like project it. It's his own honest opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that. He wants to win a championship. He wants a deep playoff run. He wants to be competitive towards that June mark, and you can't blame him. He wants to win. He came to Miami to win. They've had a few really good chances, but again, they've been outmatched in the 2 scenarios where they've made those deep playoff runs. It will be interesting to see how this year plays out. I think they have a great chance, especially as this time gets closer. And if Jimmy is healthy, like he's missed these, I think it was 8 of his last 9 games with this. It was a calf injury. It then progressed to a right foot irritation. Hopefully, when he comes back, there's no problems at all, whether it be the foot, the calf, or anything else. And we can get him for a long stretch of games. Who cares about the MVP? Who cares about most improved or first or second all NBA team? Everyone's going to know when Jimmy Butler plays, it comes with a certain skill level and a certain attitude. And that's really what matters, as long as he's there to actually present it and actually play. Because if that doesn't happen, the Miami Heat aren't doing as well. Jimmy Butler isn't going to be as happy. It's just going to be a bunch of just problems to begin with. So let him sit out as long as he wants. As long as the Miami Heat aren't on a massive like losing slide, there's no reason to rush him back. Not at all, especially not in the early stages of January.
Yeah, I mean, you said it all right there, and we all know Jimmy Butler. He doesn't care about anything besides winning. You said that he came to Miami to win, and that's all he wants to do right now. And maybe some players out there, who knows if they care about making that extra money. But the Heat have a good chance to win it this year. But if they're gonna do that, they need Jimmy Butler to be healthy. I don't think, and I know based on what he said, that he's not gonna risk him not being healthy and put that at jeopardy for anything reward related. But that'll wrap up the video. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on both of these things. Are you happy about the Erik Spolstra contract? Let us know. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.